Guten Tag alle, heute wollte ich über das Passiv sprechen, ein bisschen. We're going to talk about the passive voice in German today. The passive voice is used much less frequently in German as in English, but it is used especially in writing, so it is necessary for German learners to become familiar with its construction and its use. So let's look at the difference between the active and the passive voices in German and in English. We'll start with German. Ich lerne Deutsch. That's an active present tense sentence. I am learning German, or I learn German in English. In the passive voice, or passiv, the object of the previous sentence becomes the subject, in this case Deutsch, and then you go from there with the form of werden. Deutsch wird von mir gelernt, or German is being learned by me. In German, the passive voice is formed through the use of the verb werden and with a past participle. In English, it is formed with the form of the verb to be, or using it as is being or was being. When you use it as to be, that's called the statal passive voice. So Deutsch wird von mir gelernt. Here we have the conjugation of the verb werden that we need, and here we have the past participle gelernt. In the passive voice, as I've mentioned, the former object of the sentence, ich lerne Deutsch, becomes the subject of the sentence. Only transitive verbs, that is, verbs that take a direct object, can form the passive voice. In order to form the passive, you'll need to become familiar with the conjugations of the verb werden in both the present and past tenses. So we'll start with the present tense. Ich werde, du wirst, wird, and even though that sounds like a T on the end, it is a D, wird. Wir werden, ihr werdet, sie werden. For the past, the E and I change to a U. Ich wurde, du wurdest, wurde, wir wurden, ihr wurdet, sie wurden. When you're using the passive voice, you'll most often use the third person singular conjugation of this verb both in the present and past tenses. Sometimes in the passive voice, certain prepositions are used to indicate the agent who is doing the action. These prepositions are durch, von, and mit. Durch is used to indicate the means by which the action is done. Durch by itself means through. For example, der Brief wird durch die Post geschickt, saying the letter was sent through the post, or is being sent through the post. Durch is an accusative preposition, so die Post stays die Post. Von is used to indicate a person or thing who's doing the action. For example, der Brief wird von mir geschrieben. Von is a dative preposition, so that's why it's von mir and not von mich. Mit is used to indicate the instrument used to perform the action. For example, der Brief wird mit dem Kuli geschrieben. Mit is a dative preposition, so der Kuli changes to dem, and this indicates with what that the letter was written. Alright, let's review some of the tenses. Deutsch wird gelernt, that would be the present tense in the passive voice. Deutsch wurde gelernt, this would be the simple past or imperfect tense in the passive voice. Deutsch ist gelernt worden, this would be the present perfect tense in the passive voice. Deutsch war gelernt worden, this would be the past perfect in the passive voice. Deutsch wird gelernt werden, which is the future tense in the passive voice. And finally, Deutsch wird gelernt worden sein, which would be the future perfect, or Futur 2 in the passive voice. Okay, das war's. Vielen Dank.